Everybody Hates Rand is a Wheel of Time podcast that will contain spoilers for all 14 books. So if you're anti-spoiler, pause this, read all 14 books, and come back. We'll be here, waiting.
Our title is a joke and is meant to be taken as such. In the context of this podcast, everybody refers to us and our cat. You are free to feel however you want about Rand, who is a fictional character. Don't DM us.
The world is a mess, Dark One stretching out his hand. The dragon's reborn, the fire's been fanned, but everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand. Everybody hates Rand.
That's how you started the podcast, bud. I hope it picked that up. Did you know that if it doesn't happen on the podcast, then it doesn't count in real life?
Yeah.
Also, if we die on the podcast, we die in real life.
It's like Teleron Riyadh.
Yeah, exactly. Which is ironic, because that's one of the topics of conversation this time around. There's only like two topics of conversation. There's no topics of conversation. That's an exaggeration.
Well, we can talk about how this lotion is stinging my hands a lot.
What? What's in it? Helps
I think it's
heal.
just because my hands are cracking.
Jergens Ultra Healing.
I don't know, it's just something I got in like a stocking or something.
And yeah, I feel you.
I think it's just because my hands in the wintertime, from like the months of November to April, are just like open wounds.
That happens to me, but my nose.
Oh, that's the worst.
I get nosebleeds so often
I'm so sorry.
in the winter months. Especially when the weather is, like, changing, so right around now. Like, pretty much every morning I get a nosebleed. And it's
I'm
like...
sorry?
It lasts for all of 10 seconds.
That sucks, though. I'm just sorry that winter in Utah is like, what if I dried you out completely?
I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's the dryness or, like, the change in air pressure or what. It's just pretty fucking wild. Especially during my high school years when I would, be trapped in class for 8 hours a day and suddenly I would just, like a kid in a horror movie and or an anime character getting an erection, which is what that implies. I think.
Is it?
Tibble, take your crackfish elsewhere. Yeah, I just suddenly have blood streaming down my face.
I'm sorry.
Well, you are welcome to join in on any wedding activities.
Anne also has sisters of her own.
Okay, but Anne has one useful sister, Sarah. And then me, who have absolutely nothing to contribute.
Yeah, but I gave you things to say about Anne's wedding ring, remember? Did you say them?
I can't remember.
So that's a no.
I think I did. I literally texted Sally and was like, what do I say about what, how's it nice? How's it good? She gave me a list of things to say. We're such a stereotypical...
It was pretty funny.
I don't understand how to qualify beauty.
What?
Like, I can be like, that's aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know how or why. I just know I like it. Brain likes it.
Lizard brain shiny.
Yeah, lizard brain shiny. I was like, I cannot distinguish between wedding rings. People will show a wedding ring, and someone else will be like, it's too big, it's gaudy. And I'll be like, what? It looks like every other wedding ring. They're all the same. I don't understand. There's a shiny rock on a band.
This is so sad.
I haven't even introduced the fucking podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what this episode's gonna be.
Because Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. I'm probably gonna cut out all the stuff about high school because it got kind of dark, but...
Yeah, that took me back to a place I didn't really want to be.
I will not delete the part just now where I reference the dark talk about high school. I'll just leave you all in suspense.
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 Shut up. Okay, that's Emily. I'm Sally. This is our Ding Dong podcast.
For ding dongs.
For fucking ding dongs.
Are you a ding dong? Welcome to the podcast. You know how my mom got me this shirt?
Yeah.
It was her first tentative attempt to buy me men's clothing. And I find that very endearing.
That is very endearing.
Yeah. She's never tried again, for the record.
But she did a great job. I really think she hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, she did good.
It could have been sleeveless, though, Becky.
She doesn't know about my
proclivity for sleeveless shirts.
Yeah.
Having your guns out.
I have very few sleeveless shirts these days, actually.
We gotta fix that.
Well, it's just because I don't walk dogs anymore. I'm not out in the heat, so I don't, like, sleeves are okay, as long as I'm not hot. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, you know who else doesn't like sleeves? Perrin in all the fan art, so...
I know.
Everyone just wants to show off his ripped biceps, or whatever.
I feel like Perrin's biceps are probably too big, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's always drawn like his muscles are about to burst through the seams of his leathery skin.
Well, that's just how the cover artist draws everyone.
He's like,
really upsetting.
Cauthon, bodybuilder.
I mean, Cauthon is the only one who doesn't have weirdly huge muscles, and I don't know if that's because he read the books and was like, oh yeah, not him, or if just all the art always has him in sleeves, so you can't tell.
It's true, Matt doesn't really go sleeveless.
Yeah, Matt is not a sleeveless boy so much. But Perrin, though, Perrin's frequently shirtless, to remind us that he has...
Sex appeal.
Animal magnetism. Get
Literally.
it? Because wolf stuff. Is he a furry, though?
Stop making fun of furries.
What? I'm not making fun of furries. I want to know if Perrin's a furry. We've never had a furry. Answer the question for us.
Do you guys remember that scene in one of the later Game of Thrones books where some, like, one-off side character, like, wargs into a wolf and fucks another wolf?
What?
That isn't a person warging into a wolf.
What?
Yeah.
What? That must be the last one, because that's the only one I haven't read,
Yeah,
and I feel like that would be pretty vivid in my memory. What the fuck?
It was pretty vivid in my memory.
There's a wolf sex scene?
Yes. Of course there is.
It's a Game of Thrones. Par for the course.
But anyway, luckily we don't get any of that in Wheel of Time.
Yeah, luckily Perrin doesn't have romantic tension with any wolves.
But could you imagine how funny that would be?
It would be pretty funny.
I just feel like it would be...
Can you imagine if Perrin had a love triangle with Fail and a wolf? Hopper, obviously.
Yeah, I was about to say Hopper, of course.
He's already got a love triangle with Fail and Gaul.
Yeah, it's just like a love dodecahedron.
Yeah.
Perrin, his wolf pack, Fail, and Gaul.
And eventually everyone realizes that Perrin is not a good love interest, and...
Yeah, and he gets killed off like the rest of his
Yeah.
family. Okay, Emily, what happens in these
I don't want to talk about what happens because it's all so bad.
Okay, should we talk about how hot Gaul is?
He is pretty hot.
Anyway, this week, though I did not get around to writing an erotic self-insert fanfiction of myself
I can't
and Gaul.
believe you.
I know, I'm really sorry. It is part of the reason why I feel like I'm disappointing everybody in the EHR community. I was trying to like really dial in to my animal brain and be like, why do you find tall people so attractive?
Yeah.
And I can't come up with any reason other than that I just love it. Like, there's gotta be some reason, right? What's the science of sexual attraction?
I'm sorry, I was Googling an article that I wanted to cite in this episode.
Oh, you're so good. You got sources?
No, I have one source because she, I think I've talked about it in previous episodes. I just read it and was like, oh wow, that really...
Anyway, I just, like, don't know if it's that there's more of the person or that it makes me
we're
feel...
talking about why it is that you're sexually attracted to tall people?
Yeah, or if it just, like, makes me feel safe.
Well, I don't know. Do you get more or... Okay, so picture two scenarios.
Okay.
One is where you're seeing, like, say, Terminator Dark Fate, which we just saw.
Okay, good movie.
In it, the main girl is super attractive to begin with, but she's also very tall. Mm-hmm. Sort of looms over everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now picture another scenario in which you personally, Sally, are near a woman who's that tall, or a man, whatever you prefer in this scenario. Which strikes your fancy more?
What? That they're attractive or that they're tall?
No, I'm trying, like, is it seeing a tall person or is it the act of being loomed over by a tall person?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because if you're, like, just having someone who's taller than you near you and having, like, to look up at them and feel kind of safe and in their shadow. And then you just project that onto seeing it, you know, or visualizing it. But maybe you just like the aesthetic.
I feel like it's how I like being safe and loomed over.
Okay.
Cool, and I also feel like in movies and stuff it's hard because there's less of a, like, spatial understanding of how tall. Except when blonde lady was standing next to Danny, who looked like a baby.
I looked up their heights afterward. Danny's like 5'2", and Grace, the name of the character, is 5'10".
Oh my god.
I know, and I was like, oh,
Danny, that's the perfect lesbian dynamic. Extremely little and tall.
Listen, Terminator Dark Fate, I mean, it was a movie.
It was fine.
It was a standard action movie. It was written by men, so it wasn't like it did anything super subversive. But it did have some very hot women in it.
Yeah.
And they weren't being hot for men. They were being hot for me. Specifically.
They were like, listen, we gotta dial into our target audience, Emily Jusha.
Emily Jusha's specific sexual fantasy.
It's true. At one point, Grace takes off her men's leather jacket to throw rebar, and both myself and Emily's friend Devin just, like, looked at Emily. And she was just, like, praying in the movie theater.
Devin knows.
I mean, admittedly, that was a lot to handle.
That was a lot to
Like,
handle.
her arm in that javelin pose.
I know. Stop. You're hurting
It's
me.
really good.
Ugh. I can't think about it. I get too...
I didn't know she was 5'10". That makes her hotter.
Yeah, she's super tall. She's great.
I mean, she's not as tall as Gaul, but that's okay.
No one's tall as Gaul. 6'7".
6'9".
6'9". Excuse. I feel like he grows every time we talk about him.
Do I need to get the Wheel of Time companion out? This changed my life when I learned that Gaul was 6'9".
No, I'm sure it's seared into your memory.
I was like, as if I wasn't already attracted enough to Gaul.
Yeah, Gaul's just so cool. Okay, anyway, I'm ready to talk about the chapters now.
Okay, we did enough nonsense, enough analyzing of my sexual constellation for once.
Yeah, but, and mine. We talked about both our sexual constellations.
She
For
really
you,
was
it's height.
so
For me,
hot.
it's, like, muscles, but only on women.
I can get that. I do live like a muscly woman.
Women doing pull-ups. They are my weakness.
I feel like we talk a lot about how attracted I am to men, but I am also attracted to women.
Here are the chapters.
Okay. I didn't read that preface.
Sally didn't read them. I'm going to summarize them very quickly, and probably then the episode will end, because I don't want to talk about them. They're terrible.
I'm really sad you weren't here today when I walked in carrying 3 bricks.
I'm pretty sad about that, too. It would have been a really shocking image.
I was really hoping you were home.
Sorry.
And I was like, only Tybalt is here to witness my 3 bricks.
Were they normal-sized bricks?
I mean, they were like a little bigger than normal.
Okay.
They're engraving bricks for the aviary. To take them to get engraved. Okay, sorry. I have flight of thought.
Okay, so Perrin's in the ways. He and Gaul are riding along. It's really creepy. We've talked about the ways before. Blah, blah, blah. They're far away from... Well, they're not far away. They're far away enough from the other group of people. Fail, Bane and Chiad, and Loyal, that they can, like, see the light and see whether they stop or move. But they're not really near them. So they're 2 separate parties. Get it? Anyway, and Perrin's like, we've been keeping our distance since, and then he does a flashback, and it's like, I don't know why it has to be this dramatic. I don't know why Robert Jordan favors flashbacks at the absolute weirdest moments. Literally, like, you can just think about things in retrospect. You don't have to recreate scenes.
You might be wondering how I got here.
Yeah, you might be wondering how I got here, especially this scene, which is where Perrin, like, I guess when we left off, which was like 400 pages ago,
Yeah, seriously.
Perrin had gone into the ways before Fail, and she didn't like that. So he's like standing there checking out the guiding stone, and she comes in and just slaps him across the face.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, okay, I told you not to do that. And she slaps him again. And then he's like, I really asked you not to do that. And kind of grabs her arm to prevent her from slapping him again. And then she tries to punch him. And then the scene cuts off, but it is heavily implied that he then spanks her.
Gross.
Give me a minute.
Ew.
Okay, so this is from an article by Lee Butler, who writes for Tor.com. It's called Top 5 Worst Moments of the Wheel of Time. And she has this categorized as worst moment number 5, which is pretty interesting. Although worst moment number 4 is Matt's entire characterization in The Gathering Storm, so I do appreciate that.
Oh my god, Lee Butler, you absolute unit.
Yeah, well, a cool homie. And... What?
Now you have to read all of them after you get to this point.
No, I'll go down the list. I don't actually remember the rest of them on the list. I just remember this. This is from... She cites one of her own, like, essays that she did during the reread. It's called the Redux Reread, and she has a link on this article that you can, like, get to the reread in its entirety. But quoting the relevant bit. Some of the sentiments expressed in the comments, because there was a storm of controversy generated by her initial outrage in this initial reread. Even when presented calmly, I found anywhere from lightly upsetting to deeply disturbing, mostly in the latter case because the commenters themselves seemed to have no idea of what it is they were implying. The biggest one of these was the "you act like a child, you get spanked like a child" comments. I found this disturbing because, among other things, it inherently implies the belief that A, Perrin has every right to decide whether Fail deserves punishment for acting out, and B, he has the right to both decide what that punishment is and to mete it out himself. And you know what, if he was her father, he would have that right, up to a point. But Perrin is most decidedly not her father, and to blithely assign Fail's love interest, or any male in her life other than her actual father, in fact, the punitive power of a parental authority figure is, to put it baldly, some deeply messed up hyper-patriarchal bullshit, y'all. That is in fact the textbook definition of patriarchy, equating women to children, reducing them to permanently immature, weaker beings who must be protected and disciplined by the stronger, more rational, wiser male authority figures in their lives. That so many of the comments advocating the good punishment argument seem to fail to even notice this connotation of their words was, in a word, unsettling.
Shit.
So I just feel like that really, like, nails down why all of the, like, men spanking people in the Wheel of Time scenes is wrong and bad. And it also says a lot, I think, that Robert Jordan didn't actually write it out. Like, maybe he got there and was like, I'll just write this out, and then was like, you know, something strikes me about this the wrong way, but I'm just gonna leave it in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a coward, or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, spanking women, wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide punishment for people.
Yeah, no, she really did nail... I didn't want to assume.
Yeah, I don't know their pronouns.
They really nailed that in.
But also, domestic abuse is wrong. Fail should definitely not have slapped Perrin. Their entire relationship is a toxic mess and can be pretty much summed up by the fact that it got so physical so fast.
Yeah, and it's just like... Yeah.
Like, they are hitting each other, y'all. Yeah. That's so unsettling and bad.
Yeah, it's not okay.
It's not like cute, flirtatious gender war stuff. It's they're hitting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, like, that's just, you just have to say it and move on. And, we can't just, every time they have a moderately redemptive moment in their relationship, it's, like, always going to be scarred by the fact that, oh, hey, remember how they hit each other regularly?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Ugh, it's so bad.
It's just...
It also, really upsets me when people are like, Perrin and Fail have a kinky relationship because they hit each other.
That's not kink, y'all.
And I'm like, maybe they do have a kinky relationship, we don't know, because Robert Jordan doesn't write on the screen sex scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, kink is first of all consensual, and if you're going to hit someone, you've talked about that beforehand.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spank someone in the bedroom, not in the ways, fuck.
Spanking someone without prior discussion and, an understanding of each other's boundaries and what interests you and excites you is not kink, it's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So, jot that down.
Nailed it.
That said, they could be kinky motherfuckers, but like you said, we don't know, because Robert Jordan was a coward who didn't write sex scenes.
I mean, yes, but also I really don't want to read Robert Jordan's attempt at an explicit sex scene. I really am not interested in that. I've read so few actually good sex scenes in my life that...
They're usually disappointing. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, where I'm like, what type of sex are these people having?
I know, it's upsetting. Oh well.
Anyway, Perrin and Fail have a bad relationship. It's just so toxic.
Yeah, so anyway, basically we cut back to the present, which is when everyone is getting to the end of the ways, and there's some more apparent and fail bullshit that I'll skim right over. But they get there, and before they can make their way to the exit, they're attacked suddenly by Trollocs. And it's like, aw, dang, fuck wild, now we have to kill some Trollocs. So they do, and there's a fate that they have to kill. And they do.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then there's, like, more Trollocs that are, like, waiting, but they all... Because, as you know, bad guys always come in waves.
Yeah,
and wait politely for the first wave to be completely murdered before they initiate the second wave.
Yeah, it's like when Rambo stands in a circle and
Yeah.
just punches one guy after another.
That's how tactics works,
Yeah,
people.
that's how you win wars.
That's how wars are won.
You think Matt is out here having his army do consecutive maneuvers? No.
Sad when you think about how that's what they were basically doing up until, like, the 1860s.
No,
though.
do you sometimes think about how they used to just stand in lines and shoot at each
Yeah,
other?
the Revolutionary War is just so fucking stupid.
Like, what the fuck?
Oh, God. All warfare is just so...
I mean, all warfare is ridiculous. But,
Yeah.
like, I think about groups of men just standing in parallel lines and shooting at each other, and I'm like, what the literal shit?
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing imaginable. Warfare's dumb. Anyway, yeah, then they exit en masse, and Perrin is like, then they hear the Black Wind coming after them, because that's what always happens right when you reach the end of the ways.
Yeah.
It's funny how the wind never catches up to you at your midway point. It's only in the last seconds.
Is there, like, an opposite of Deus Ex Machina where it's, like, Deus Ex Villain at the most convenient time?
Or would it be Villain Ex Machina?
Yeah, Villain Ex Machina. You're totally right.
Yeah.
Diablo Ex Machina.
Oh, man. If bloodthirsty wind Ex Machina.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's so creepy.
Yeah, but anyway, Perrin's like, lock it, Loyal, and so Loyal puts both of the little key leaves, puts them on the outside, so basically he's blocking it from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Sentencing all the Trollocs therein to die via the Black Wind, which Loyal's like, I kind of feel pity for them, and Perrin's like, I refuse to feel pity for them, because they're monsters and they eat people, or whatever. And I'm like, well...
Well... Perrin...
You know one thing I really like about Critical Role?
I like where this is going.
In Dungeons and Dragons, there's all these, like, races of, monsters or creatures that are, like, assigned various, like, places on the morality spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have creatures like goblins or whatever that are, like, always bad and evil, which is a bad stereotype, by the way. That like goblins are often equated with Jewish people, etc. And like orcs and whatever. But in this current campaign of Critical Role, the DM did his own world building, and so he has like one of the main countries is like basically all of those people, and they're just like chilling.
Cool.
It's cool. There's a whole city that's just like beasts, city of beasts, and it's like, fuck cool. Yeah, some like minotaurs and cool, fucking cool things.
Hell yeah.
And all the members of the party who are like vaguely normal looking have to disguise themselves because now they're not the normal looking ones.
Is this the minotaur that Not flirted with?
Yeah. Yes.
Is there a Mrs. Sunbreaker?
It's literally the most iconic moment in Critical Role. They're like, what are you doing? Because they're on a mission to rescue her husband. And she's like, 50-50, my husband's dead.
Wow, Not seems like the perfect character.
Sam Riegel's a comedic genius.
Yeah. Is there a Mrs. Sunbreaker?
Is there a Mrs. Sunbreaker?
Yeah, but it's like people's games and things.
Yeah. It's like people's canes and things.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, Critical Role, y'all. Does some fun things with dismantling problematic stereotypes in fantasy settings.
Good for you, Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer.
With your weird hair.
He's got a lot of weird things going on. I have no idea how I feel about Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer.
Emily
I think he's a very smart guy, but...
legitimately blew my mind when she told me that one of the Critical Role voice actors plays Colonel Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Pretty buck wild.
And I was like, excuse me?
Especially because he's my favorite.
Big dad energy.
He has huge
Fjord
dad energy.
himself.
Fjord himself.
Fjord.
Ford.
Jester, it's Ford.
Ford. Eldritch Blast.
Anyway, Critical Role sponsor us.
This is specifically for Al.
This is a gift to our teen narc, Al.
Yeah.
We love you, Al.
Me talking about Critical Role. Because I know you love
Eldritch
Critical
Blast.
Eldritch Blast. Okay. Blast.
They're so funny. I don't watch Critical Role. I just like to consume it via Emily.
I know, that's your favorite method of consuming things.
Yeah. It really is, though, because I'm bad at watching things.
Whatever, man.
So then you're just like, listen to this funny thing, and I'm like, cool.
Glad it makes you happy.
It does make me
I wouldn't
happy.
want to intrude.
You
Don't want to,
never
like,
do.
force you to listen to bad stories about things.
You don't really force me to do anything.
Okay, so they get out of the ways, and then there's, like, a moment where they're all catching their breath. Perrin describes where they are to us. They're in the mountains. That's all I care to know. And, that which was once Manatharin.
That twitch was once ye old Manatharine.
Yeah, and, like, Perrin sees some ravens off in the distance, and he's like, oh, dark one spies. And all. Ravens are harmless. I know they're not in this series, but...
Yeah, but also
bird
I just like...
discrimination.
It is bird discrimination. It is bird discrimination. Because Rose and Cravens. Okay, it's fine. We don't have to get into the bird fact section of this podcast.
Well, I just think it's interesting that all the birds that are labeled as evil are also the birds with black feathers.
Mm-hmm.
So, jot that down.
It's the dark fantastic at work.
Yeah, it is the dark fantastic at work. God.
The book is
It's
really,
everywhere.
really interesting.
It's very interesting. Highly recommend. Ebony Elizabeth Thomas.
Yeah.
Yes. The Dark Fantastic. It's very good.
Very interesting.
Okay. So then Fail kind of fixes up Perrin because she's like, yeah, I'll stitch you up or whatever, but I'll also yell at you about not sewing up the hole in your coat, even though Perrin's like, I literally did not ask. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. We have to camp separately. And Loyal's like, can we not camp separately because it's immature and stupid? Mm-hmm. And Perrin's like, let it go, Loyal. It's just gonna let it go.
Let it go.
Can't hold me back anymore. Let it go. I can't remember how the song goes. I used to know how it goes because it was on the radio.
To Liz very loudly the other day. And she was like, you don't know the words. And I'm like, listen, kid. No, I don't know all the words to Let It Go at Frozen.
I don't.
I do know all the words to Let's Make a Man
Kingdom
of
of
You.
Isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. Did you get that caption on video?
No, I just got this really good picture of you and then this really good picture of you.
My hair. Well, that cowlick.
I don't know why, but I legitimately think it's the funniest picture in the world.
Picture of all time. Okay, we just finished the first chapter. We haven't even gotten to the second chapter. Luckily, it's really boring. They camp separately. And Perrin and Gaul talk for a little while about how women are silly.
Gaul, I expected better of you.
Well, Gaul's just like, nah, nah, nah. And all the women are loudly talking about something, but Perrin won't tell us because he has delicate ears or whatever.
They're not just like, and his dick was so big.
That's the implied, I guess. And Loyal's sitting 5 feet away, very uncomfortable, but they don't.
I know, it's so sad that Loyal is caught in the middle of all
I
this
feel so bad for
tomfoolery.
Loyal. I just want to store him in a library somewhere and let him read his
Let
books.
him be okay.
But anyway, then Perrin's like, yeah, I saw some ravens and it kind of freaked me out. And Gaul's like, yeah, that's freaky. They could be spies. And Perrin's like, I'm going to go see if I can figure anything out in my dreams. You might have to kick me awake. And Gaul's like, okay. And Perrin it suddenly occurs to Perrin that Gaul has never commented on any of the weird as shit stuff Perrin has said. Including, I'm gonna go see what I can learn in my dreams.
And Gaul's like, fine.
Yeah. And Perrin's like, hey, Gaul, how come you've never, like, asked about why my eyes are yellow? And Gaul basically gives this hilarious speech about how he's got enough shit to worry about without bringing Perrin's eyes into the mix. It's so funny. He's like, well, I don't know. We've come over the mountains, and everyone says that this means everything's changing. And, I'm probably going to have to be the next clan chief if the current one dies, and that's pretty stressful. And honestly, Perrin, I don't give a shit. And Perrin's like, okay, great. And goes to sleep.
You're not the center of the fucking universe.
Gaul's like, I don't give a shit about the color of your eyes, man. Like, why would I? I'm not a weirdo.
Jesus Christ, Perrin. You're not that cool.
Anyway, then Perrin is in Teleron Riyadh. And he sees some dream visions, because of course he does. He sees Rand getting attacked by little windstorm dragon-like creatures. And it's like, oh, that's ironic, because Rand was just literally in a dust storm. And also, he's gonna get attacked by Ale, who are the people of the dragon. Ooh, look, I can do symbolism too.
It's not hard, Robert Jordan.
We all know words, Robert Jordan. And he sees Elaine and Nynaeve, like, wandering around a creepy city, and they're hunting something. I wonder what that could mean. And then he sees Matt flipping a coin to go choose a fork in the road. And Matt took the road less traveled by. The one where he gets a fucking hat.
Yeah, which, I mean, is bold.
Yeah.
Does anyone else in the series regularly wear a hat?
No.
I don't. Except for Julian.
Yeah.
His
And
little
his little
fez.
Yeah. Why does Julian wear a fez? It's so fucking weird.
Why is Julian in the story?
Why is Julian a character?
I don't understand.
I want to know. I'm so confused. But I know.
upset.
Why doesn't anyone else wear a hat? It's very weird.
Yeah.
Don't want to get confused with Matt. If, like... Okay, but, like, think about it. You're a general. There's tactical value in not being particularly noticed on the battlefield, but you're the only person in the world who wears a hat. Hats were made just for you.
Hat Cauthon.
Hat Cauthon. We'll just put his Handall Thor.
So we've got Handall Thor, Hat Cauthon, and...
Nothing rhymes with Perrin.
Heron? Heron's a bird.
Karen?
Karen Ivar.
There are just other names that rhyme with Perrin.
Let's see. Baron. Raren.
Nope. Varen. Look, another name in the series rhymes with Perrin. For fuck's sake. Okay.
Darren.
Anyway, so Perrin also amusingly sees just Edgewing, like, and one of the wise ones staring back at him, because gaze into the abyss, and the abyss will look back at you, I guess, while the White Tower is crumbling behind them. So that's awkward. I wonder what they see behind Perrin.
What would they see behind
The two rivers crumbling.
And Egg is like, finally.
Just Gaul, looking beautiful.
Gaul's just like...
Yeah.
Remember how Egg could have fallen in love with Gaul instead of Gawain?
Literally anyone could have fallen in love with Gaul.
I know.
He's right there, the perfect man.
Literally, what if Gaul's dating every single character?
He could have been.
He was the collective husband.
Between Matt and Gaul, they could have both, like, dated everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Matt, Gaul, and Galad could have just ended up in a perfect little
Don't
polyamorous
don't
little
torment me.
throuple.
God, the chaotic
I
energy
know.
between the three of them.
Yeah.
It could mean, because you have lawful good character, Galad, chaotic neutral character, Matt.
And I feel like Gaul's sort of lawful.
You think lawful neutral?
Or just neutral.
True neutral.
True neutral, yeah. I feel like Gaul is just true neutral. I don't give a shit about your eyes, Perrin. You've got lawful
Perrin,
neutral
no one
and
gives a
chaotic.
shit. Okay, anyway, then Perrin is, discovering new things he can do in Teleron Riyadh, such as, like, you take one step and suddenly you're miles away. Ooh, fun.
Do you have to eat so fucking loudly?
I didn't even, like, register it. That he was
He's just
eating.
like...
I will register it when I'm editing the fucking podcast, but...
It's just like, also, like, you never eat, Tibble. Why do you have to eat right now? Literally, this cat never eats. Except when it is to annoy me, apparently. Okay. Anyway, Perrin's like, wee, I'm Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, Perrin sees a dude, and he's like, gotta look at that dude. So he goes up to the dude, but the dude runs away, and then Perrin sees, oh no, he was skinning a wolf. It's really sad, especially because as soon as Perrin got into the mountains outside of the ways, he, like, quested out for wolves and couldn't find any, which is pretty weird. And in the dream world, he couldn't find any either. So he was like, why are no wolves in this zone? I wonder. Could it be because this is a bad zone?
Mm. No wolves means bad zone.
Yeah, no wolves equals bad. So then he goes chasing after this motherfucker, who's obviously Slayer. And he follows him all the way to the Tower of Genji, where the trail disappears. And Perrin's like, what the fuck is this giant metal phallus? And he's like, how do I get in? And then Hopper appears and is like, please do not go in. And Perrin is like, why not? And Hopper's like, it's a bad zone. It's all bad.
This is the bad place.
This is the bad place, Perrin. And Perrin's like, I don't believe you. I just want to go in there and kill Slayer. And Hopper is like, what in fuck makes you think that you're an even match for this dude?
Yeah, also you saw him for the first time 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, why you gotta kill?
Why you gotta beef?
Why you so... Well, I mean, he was skinning a wolf, which is bad.
I mean, that is bad, but it's also like... I don't know.
It's also like...
Perrin just sort of goes 0 to 90 in 3.5.
It's like, hey, what? Maybe discover.
Hey, maybe use your critical thinking skills.
He doesn't have any. Anyway, so Hopper's like, please don't go in. And Perrin's like, I'm gonna. And then Brigitte is like, please don't go in. And Perrin's like, who are you, lady with braid and cool clothes?
And bow.
And she's like, it doesn't matter, but I'm here to give you exposition. And Perrin's like, great. And she explains that the Tower of Genji is where the Aelfin and the Eilfin live. And that she has a whole little thing, the music to strengthen, fire to blind, courage to strengthen, iron to bind, music to something like that. And she's like, it's like the little children's game, the snakes and the foxes. To win, you have to cheat, but if you go in there, you're not coming out. And Perrin's like, well, I guess I'll forget about this because it's not relevant to my character plot. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the info so neatly aligned with the experiences Matt has had in recent chapters.
Also, it's so funny where it's like, to get out, you'd have to cheat. You do terribly. Matt, on the other hand, has gotten out twice.
No, Matt literally has a convo with Brigitte, and she's like, I don't know, if anyone could do it.
If anyone could do it, it would be you tricksy bastard.
You tricksy bastard. And Matt's like, hell yeah.
That's mine.
I'm bringing dynamite in there.
And she's like, cool.
She's like, yeah, sounds lit.
Brigitte's like, hell yeah,
sounds
can I
about
come?
Right. Sounds about fucking right. Can I come instead of being Elaine's bodyguard?
Listen, Brigitte has the biggest bro energy. I feel like we've talked about this.
We have. Brigitte's the coolest.
Brigitte would totally throw a Molotov cocktail.
Oh my god!
Immediately I threw a Molotov cocktail. Boom. A different
Who has the
problem.
biggest Jason from the Good Place energy? It's not Brigitte because she's not stupid enough.
She's almost stupid enough.
Brigitte has Eleanor's
It's true,
energy.
she does. Really, she does.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Who is stupid
Loyal
enough?
is cheaty, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
That means Brigitte and Loyal fall in love, but that's okay.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Who has Tahani energy? Elaine, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is upsetting, because Tahani's like the way better version of Elaine.
Yeah.
Galad.
Is Jason?
No, Galad is Tahani.
So true.
And
I don't know. I really do feel like Matt is stupid enough in one way.
Yeah, he
but
is.
also not like, he's like brain smart, but just completely stupid.
Yeah, he's got, he has no impulse control at all.
Jason.
Yeah, much like Jason. He's just like, bam. For a
like,
Molotov cocktail.
Boom, a different problem.
Or a bit different problem. It's so wild that there's not a Wheel of Time equivalent to Florida. Usually there is in Fantasy World. I'm just saying. Isn't the Game of Thrones equivalent to Florida that, like, weird island that the Viking people come from.
The Iron Islands?
Yeah.
That's Florida?
I kind of feel like it's Florida because they've got the weirdest problems.
Okay.
They'll do weird things.
They do.
I thought this was going to be a short episode.
It turned out I've reverted to being 4 years old, so...
Anyway, then Brigitte, Perrin sees Gaul's shadow. And he's like, why does everyone look so familiar? At one point, Brigitte calls him, like, she says you have the courage of a banner man to his face. Recall that when the Hone of Valir was born, Perrin was carrying the banner. And so at that point, he saw Brigitte. And even that does not...
He's like, I just, like,
put the pieces together.
know. I'm just a fucking moron.
I'm just so fucking stupid. But then Brigitte disappears, and Perrin's like, that was weird, Hopper. She agreed with you. And Hopper's like, who agreed with me? And Hopper's been, like, laying in the grass this entire time. She's like...
having a little snooze.
Yeah, having a little snooze. And Perrin's like, the lady that was just here. And Hopper's like, and there wasn't a lady here. You were just making weird noises. At the wind. Like the Charlie Brown's parents' noises. That's what Hopper hears.
He's like rolling in the
And
grass.
Hopper's like, okay, just gonna let him
like,
have his moment.
Take a nap.
So anyway, then Perrin is like, well, problem for another day, and goes back to... He does ask Hopper, why are there no wolves in the Two Rivers? And Hopper's like, I wouldn't go home if I were you. And Perrin's like, great advice. Thank you. And then goes back and is like, well, Gaul, I think going home is going to be worse than I thought. And Gaul's like, meh, that's life. It's like the French say, mi casse su casse.
Means that's life. Gaul's like, haven't you ever read The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell?
Yeah, obviously. I know
You
how this shit
fucking
goes.
idiot, Perrin.
Okay,
Read a goddamn book.
Gaul talks about reading books.
Yeah, does he?
Yeah, Perrin's
so
like,
hot.
how do you know so much shit about, like, you know,
Yeah.
this part of the world? And Gaul's like, I read a bunch of books before I came here. And I'm like, oh, I love a man who does research.
Yeah, also Perrin's like, excuse me, I thought you were illiterate because I'm a fucking racist.
So that's the chapters, and we're gonna be stuck here for so fucking long. Tybalt. I almost just called him Perrin because I was mad at him.
Perrin.
Oh, Perrin. I fucking hate
Imagine if our cat's name was Perrin.
I'd have murdered him by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tybalt's gotta take a shit.
I don't know if we should stop the audio for him.
I feel like this should be our sign-off.
This is our sign-off. Just listen to Tybalt.
Scratching in his
No, that's
letterbox.
so mean. I don't... Oh, no. Here's our sign-off. We'll just go through the other moments.
Oh, but before we do, thank you to Glenda McKenzie for the use of our theme song. It's so beautiful, and we love it so much. Thank you to everybody who's been listening and interacting with us on the internet, supporting us on Patreon, making EHR possible. We love you, love you, love you, love you.
Okay, worst moment number 5. Obviously, Perrin Spinks fail in The Shadow Rising. Worst moment number 4. Matt's characterization in The Gathering Storm. Worst moment number 3. Fail is imprisoned by the Shadow Ale. And then it has parentheses of what books this happens in, and it is The Path of Daggers, Winter's Heart, Crossroads of Twilight, Knife of Dreams. It's such
fucking
a long.
time.
That's the main complaint. That's such a long fucking plot. Worst moment number 2. Anything Gawain did in the entire series.
I'm obsessed with
the
you, Lee
entire
Butler.
series.
What a fucking hero.
I know. Then there's a whole bunch of honorable mentions. Worst moment number 1.5. Tylan rapes Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you. Worst moment number 1. Elaine and Avienda take a bath.
What? Did they take a bath
Oh,
together?
it's because it's a 5-page long bath sequence.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what happens. Tybalt is shitting in the
It
background.
really smells really bad.
So thank you. Thank you so much for listening. We're leaving now. Good fucking bye. Don't do war crimes.